Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're going to go over our buy, hold, sell for Gameweek14. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel, and also click the notification bell so you guys don't miss any future uploads. Also look out for FPL Social, which is a live in-person FPL event coming up in Melbourne in February of next year. We're going to be there, so for tickets and information click the links in the description. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So in today's video, we're going to look over 3 buy, 3 hold and 3 sell options to assist you guys with the transfer planning for the upcoming game week and help you guys set up your teams up until game week 16 before that next wildcard becomes available. Starting off with the buy options, Phil Foden's the first player here. I was tossing up between Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne for this buy player slot, but I've opted to go for Foden just because he is better value for money at £8.4 million, and I definitely think he is more achievable to get into the squads compared to De Bruyne, purely based on his high price tag. Foden is also a better option, as I do think Salah is still a decent premium midfielder option to have. I have seen a lot of people sell him already, but I'll actually talk about him later in the video. He's still got some decent fixtures coming up, so maybe you could look to hold on to Salah and then look to target that Man City attack in other ways, potentially through Phil Foden, who did get a pretty decent rest midweek in the Champions League, as he did get subbed on in this fixture and didn't play the full 90 minutes, so he should be pretty much good to go for the weekend and hopefully back starting for Manchester City. His underlying stats have been pretty decent so far with a 3.39 XG, but it's definitely his recent form that's caught the eye with 6 goals and 4 assists. Obviously a lot of these returns have come in the last 3 to 4 game weeks for him, so definitely a nice player to jump on while he's in good form, and Man City have some excellent fixtures, especially in the next 3 game weeks, to target him. Obviously, Leicester, Fulham and Brentford are his next 3 opponents, so some of the best fixtures from now until game week 16 out of any side, and I think Phil Foden is one of the best value for money players in FPL right now, so a very good option to have in midfield. I would seriously consider bringing him in if possible, unless you already have triple Manchester City with Kevin De Bruyne, in which case I'd be happy just to hold the likes of Cancelo, De Bruyne and Haaland as the triple up. But if you don't have De Bruyne in the midfield, I think Foden's such a great pick to have in there to capitalise on that extra Man City attacker. Moving on, Bukayo Saka, also a very decent midfielder pick at a similar price. If you've already got Phil Foden in the team, then I probably would opt for Saka as my second preference in terms of £8 million midfielders, just behind Phil Foden, because he's got very good fixtures coming up as well. Nottingham Forest at home in game week 14 and Wolves away in game week 16, 2 pretty good fixtures from an attacking perspective, especially considering Wolves haven't been defending it very well recently, obviously conceding 4 goals at home to Leicester last game week. Saka's underlying stats have actually been better than Phil Foden's in terms of XG, as his XG is 3.81, a little bit higher than Foden's 3.39. He is on penalties as well, which is a big bonus for Bukayo Saka. So if you do have the funds in the squad and you've already got Foden in the midfield, I think Saka could be a very good differential midfielder compared to Phil Foden. His ownership sitting at around 17% right now. Saka, a lot more differential compared to Foden, whose ownership's nearly climbed up to 30%. Could be a great way to increase your rank over the next 3 game weeks. He's put up 4 goals and 5 assists so far this season, and he's another one that's been in great recent form for Arsenal. He's really built on the last 7 or 8 game weeks, producing returns in 6 of his last 8 matches for Arsenal. And I think he could be a very nice midfielder option as well. And looking at a third midfielder pick here, Miguel Almiron at just £5.4 million could prove to be one of the best value midfielders right now as well. He's coming off back-to-back double-digit returns for Newcastle with 10 points in each of his last 2 games. He's been in great goal-scoring form, and I think he's a good player to get on if you're looking to target some good Newcastle fixtures, with Aston Villa at home in game week 14, Southampton away game week 15, and Chelsea at home game week 16. 3 pretty good fixtures from an attacking perspective. His underlying numbers have also been pretty similar to Foden and Saka. His XG's actually been higher than Foden, and he's considerably cheaper at £3 million less, yet people are overlooking him a lot more than Foden. I think that is due to the fact that he's been performing well recently and people haven't had the chance to jump on him. So definitely a good chance to get on him if you fancy him for some more goals. He's already got 6 so far this season, and a great player that could potentially increase the rank in the next 3 game weeks if he can keep up his very good form recently. Let's now move on to the hold options. These are three players that have been heavily transferred out by managers, but we recommend holding on to because they still have some good fixtures coming up or have got good underlying stats. The first one here is Mo Salah. We spoke about him earlier in the video. I do think if he's currently in your squad, I probably wouldn't look to get rid of him just because I do prefer Foden instead of De Bruyne, and I think De Bruyne is probably going to be the most common replacement for Mo Salah, and I definitely wouldn't be looking to just go Salah down to Foden, so you're not missing out on the Man City attack. I still think Salah's a good option in his own right, and if you can get Salah and Foden together, that will be more preferable. He's got a good fixture of Leeds at home in Gameweek 14, and yes, he has frustrated his owners in the last couple of matches, but you can't deny that Leeds at home is a very, very good fixture. He has done well in this fixture in the past, actually, and also in Gameweek 16 at Southampton at home, a very decent opponent for him to potentially add to that goal tally. So I would say 2 out of the next 3 fixtures looking pretty favourable for Liverpool. So right now, I wouldn't necessarily be selling a Salah from the squads. I think you could probably match De Bruyne hopefully for points in the next 3 games. His underlying stats are actually very good. He's got the highest XG amongst all midfielders with 5.49. He hasn't really capitalised on his chances too much with just 3 goals and 4 assists, but if he can pick up that goal scoring form, I'm sure he's going to be a great option in the next 3 game weeks or so before that game week 16 second wildcard becomes available. Also, Wilfried Zaha in a similar boat to Salah in the sense that he has frustrated recently, only picking up a goal and an assist in his last 4 or 5 matches for Crystal Palace. He's still got good fixtures, to be fair. Southampton, West Ham and Nottingham Forest, and he's still in our team. I think he's still a very strong hold option. I definitely wouldn't be looking to sell him. I think he's still a very nice mid-price midfielder pick. He's already put up 5 goals and 1 assist so far this season, so he's shown what he can do for Crystal Palace. He is on penalties as well, which makes him more tempting. So I just think, especially with Southampton and Forest as 2 out of his next 3, it's not a good time to sell Wilfried Zaha right now, as I do think he can perform quite well in the next 3 fixtures. And the other one here is Gabriel Jesus, who has been overlooked by a few managers and being sold for the cheaper forwards, whether that is Tony or Mitrovic. I still think Jesus, if you've got him in the team, is a good option in his own right, especially with Nottingham Forest at home in Gameweek 14. Definitely wouldn't be looking to sell Jesus coming into this fixture, as it is one of the best fixtures from an attacking perspective in the game right now. If you're looking to bring in Mitrovic instead of him, Mitrovic does have a good fixture this week, but then his next 2 after that aren't the greatest, so potentially sticking with Jesus at £8 million could be the play, especially since he's also got Wolves away in Gameweek 16, who haven't been defending very well recently. So 2 pretty strong fixtures in the next 3 for Jesus to pick up that goal scoring form after he did make a very fast start to the season. And he's also got extremely good underlying stats as well, with a 6.77 XG. He's returned 5 goals and 4 assists, so I probably wouldn't be looking to sell him ahead of a very good fixture of Nottingham Forest at home. So with that being said, let's have a look at some sell picks now. These are 3 players that have been heavily transferred out by managers this game week, and we also recommend selling them as well. The obvious pick here is Reece James. Not too much to note about him. Obviously, he is injured for Chelsea, and he's obviously not going to be available until after the World Cup for them, which is unfortunate for him, and he's going to miss the next 3 game weeks for Chelsea. So if you haven't already, definitely sell him before his price continues to decrease at 5.9 million. Moving on to Pascal Gross, he's coming in at £5.6 million, has really struggled to produce returns recently for Brighton. He has blanked in the last 4 game weeks or 5 game weeks for Brighton now, so he's definitely not been in the best touch from an attacking perspective. Hasn't really been getting as many chances as he was earlier in the season, and I just think at 5.6 million, you could definitely easily downgrade him to Almiron. So if he's still in your side, I believe his ownership's still sitting at around 15 to 20% at the moment. So if he's still in your team, definitely a good one to get rid of. He had a very good form at the start of the year, but has really dropped off. And I think Almiron, now at £5.4 million, is really presenting himself as a good option to potentially replace Pascal Gross there. And the third one here is Perisic. His ownership is also still above 20%. If he's in your teams, I'd probably be looking to get him out, because even though he's got Bournemouth away in Gameweek 14, if he does play midweek in the Champions League for Tottenham, he hasn't played Well, the Tottenham fixture hasn't been played at the time of recording midweek in the Champions League. If he plays in this Champions League game, there is a high probability that he's going to get rested for that Bournemouth game. Well, we've seen him been rested for quite a few games now for Tottenham so far this season. And I just think for a player of £5.5 million, you need a nailed starting defender, and Perisic just can't provide that right now. His underlying stats are still good with a 1.9 expected assist figure. He has returned 3 assists and got 3 clean sheets, which is a very good output, but he's just not getting enough minutes. And outside of Bournemouth away, Liverpool at home and Leeds at home, probably not the easiest fixtures from a defensive standpoint, especially Liverpool at home in Gameweek 15. So I think if he is in your side at the moment, probably a good chance to get rid of him now, as I do think his price is probably one that's going to be decreasing in the next couple of game weeks. And of course, you want to maintain very good squad value once that wild card becomes available in Game Week 16 if you want to use it after the World Cup. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the Game Week 14 buy, hold, sell. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel, and also click the notification bell so you guys don't miss any future uploads, and look out for FPL Social. Tickets and information to that are in the description, and with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.